Hello, my name is Sophie and today we are looking through entitled parents. In today's first story, OP is a tutor and an entitled parent asks him to drop a student so they can teach the child of the student. It's been a while since I've posted because working from home and being an online tutor has limited my contact with entitled parents. However, one has made it through the trenches to come and bother me. As I said, I tutor online pandemic, yay. So it's actually easier for me to have back-to-back students. However, due to the number of students and the after-school time slots, I have limited the number of spaces and therefore students. In the UK, we just finished mock exams for the year 11 as 15-16-year-olds, and as predicted due to the missed school, a lot of them didn't do so well. So I've had calls from concerned parents about helping their kids. I tell them all that I am currently fully booked and may be adding in more sessions from January 2021. So I'll put you on the waiting list. 99% of the parents appreciate this, and they know that they came to me too late. Except one. She DEMANDED that I find a slot for her son who is FAILING his English. That because she knows my family she should be higher on the waiting list. She actually said she knew my parents. As if I'm not in my 30s and running my own business that I should DROP one of my other students for her son. She heard I have international students and they are obviously not as important as his son since he needs to do his GCSEs. So do they actually, just the international ones. 15 minutes on the phone she ranted, tried to guilt me and wouldn't let me talk. Finally, when she was all tuckered out, I told her that as she couldn't respect me as a professional, we wouldn't be able to work together, and I wish her the best in the future. She is now blocked and apparently telling other parents that I refuse to help Somali kids because I'm an outsider. Even though I'm Somali, and the whole conversation was in Somali, and she claimed to know my family. In tonight's second story, P refuses to steal from his work, and then an entitled dad gets mad at him. This just happened not even 30 minutes ago. For reference, I'm 23, I'm a nurse at a hospital that's been pretty overrun with COVID, and as such, we've been pretty short on PPE. I'm eating lunch and trying to watch my show peacefully when my dad interrupts trying to ask me a question. Do you guys have gloves at your facility? Yeah, we do, but we don't have as much as we would like. Do you think you could grab a box for us? No, we're already short as is, and other people have been fired for stealing from the hospital. Are you telling me what you're not going to do? I'm not losing my job to steal gloves for you when you can buy some at the store. At this point, he walks off in a huff, thinking I was being disrespectful for not depriving myself and my coworkers of the supplies we need to protect ourselves. I'm so glad that I'm moving out next month. In tonight's third story, an entitled mother has the thing that can't be mentioned, but she refuses to wear a mask. THISSHITISWHATENRAGESME. Cast: Me Joe Biden, ED entitled head, EM entitled breeder, EK1, crotch goblin, EK2 hellspawn. This happened 10 minutes ago, and I lost all faith in humanity. I was with my parents shopping for some groceries when we see the EF entitled family come in with no masks. A store worker went up to them and said, "Could you please put masks on? We would like to reduce the spread of COVID." Bullshit. I don't care. Call your manager, EM said. The worker went to the manager, who was watching from a distance. "Hey, can you please put your masks on for everyone's safety?" "Nope. You cannot force us. Besides, it doesn't help us because we all have COVID. ED says. During this time, the kids were running around the store touching everything. The look on the manager's face was shocked. He talked to the worker, who I'm guessing called the cops because they came next. THECOPS, They said to the EF, "Please leave, or we will have to forcibly remove you." You can't make us. That is a violation of our rights. The other cop said, "No, it isn't. We are allowed to forcibly remove you." The EF didn't do anything and purposely started coying everywhere, so the cops grabbed them. The UTGUESSWHAT. EDDECKSONEOFTHEM. The other cop tases him, and he is on the ground. Then the EM comes and she also gets tased. The EKs are crying because they think their parents are dead. Obviously not. They are squirming on the ground. I don't know the rest, but I think they got arrested and put in jail for assault of an officer and maybe a few other charges. THISTYPEOFSHITISWHATMELOSEFAIDHI Edit. I forgot to mention that the store had to shut down to clean everything up. I think they had to deep clean the entire store because they couldn't confirm what the kids touched. And now in tonight's final story, an entitled mother embarrasses herself. There was this girl in my grade who was the daughter of the vice principal. I'll call her Brat. She would always try to use her mom's position to get what she wanted. If she got a bad grade on her test, she would tell the teacher to change it or else her mom would fire them. If she ran out of money on her lunch account, she would tell somebody to buy food for her or else she would look up their password on her mom's computer and take it herself. Of course, these are things the VUP couldn't actually do. But Beat seemed to think her mom was a god, and we all had to bow down to her because they were related. Now Brat seemed to be terrible at everything. However, with the help of her mom calling in some favors and sweet-talking the coach, Brat got on the volleyball team. I was on the photography club, and I worked a few of the volleyball games. Oh my god, I had never seen somebody so uncoordinated and terrible at volleyball. The ball was coming straight toward her and was impossible to miss. But somehow Brat tripped over her feet and fell onto another team member, knocking her over as well. I took joy in taking pictures of the whole thing. Needless to say, I never saw her on the court again. Now here's where my story begins. My school is very serious about marching band and show choir. The school's first and only state championship came from band while I was a freshman. And guess who wanted to be on the band now? None other than Brat. She begged and begged her mom to get the band conductor to let her in, which he eventually did. This was a huge slap in the face to everybody who worked hard to get in the school's elite program. Remember how I said Brat was terrible at everything? Well, that applies to music as well. She showed up to the first practice, not even knowing what instrument she wanted to play. After looking around for a bit, she decided on flute, saying how hard could it be. Now let me tell you something about flutes. They are hard to play, or even just blow into. I play many instruments, and flute is arguably one of the hardest ones. If you blow slightly too hard, it could end up sounding like something you would hear on REP. You think this is easy, Brat? Ye good luck. The next practice, Brat showed up with a fancy expensive flute and started bragging about the lessons she had taken. She tried showing off her new skills, but all that came out was a loud screech. Brat always reminded us that she had just started and she was going to be better than all of us soon. She struggled through a few more practices and would not stop complaining. This was ironic considering I had heard her make fun of marching band many times before that, and it was her idea to join after all. Weeks later, we finally start working on our show. The direction then announces that there will be a flute solo to open the show, and of course I want it, but I'm not the only one. I'm staying after school one day practicing the solo, and Brat walks up to my room. Listen, P, you better not try out for the solo or else my mom will expel you. I would love to see how that would work. I can just imagine me standing in front of the school board, and Brat's mom says this is OP. I want to permanently ban her from this school for trying out for a solo. I told Brat that there was no as I was quitting, and like her, I actually had to work hard to get into band and I had always wanted a solo. Brat just stormed off and said my mom's gonna kick you out, and I won't be sad one bit. The day for the tryout is around the corner and I sprained my wrist in some dumb gymnastics projecting gym. I couldn't really hold a flute, and my doctor said it would take a while to heal. I was sad because I missed one of the only chances I would ever get to play a solo in band. Then it occurred to me that I didn't even know who else was trying out. Maybe Brat was the only one, and it's not like they would just give it to her when I would be just fine in a week or two. So I decided to show up to the auditorium where people were auditioning for various parts. I took a seat and I noticed Brat's mom and some other teachers were there. I was in the back row, so nobody noticed me. It was Brat's turn, and she walked on the stage across from the band conductor and some upperclassmen who would be judging. She put down her music stand and started playing. Once she started, everybody went silent. I don't think awful is a strong enough word to describe it. The judges didn't want to be rude and cover their ears, but I did. When she was done, everyone was silent, except for Brat's mom, who stood up and clapped while yelling, "Yes, that's my girl." Brat smiled and turned to the judges and said, "So, did I get the solo?" All of the judges looked at each other and loudly whispered among each other. They turned to Brat and told her that they had ELOT to consider. This infuriated Brat's mom, who walked up to judges and started yelling, "What do you have to consider?" Brat was the only one to try out, which means she automatically gets the solo. I think OP still wanted to try out as well. "We will pick the winner when she recovers." One of the judges tells Brat's mom, "What, so you're picking a cripple over my daughter? This should be a no-brainer." "Come on, Brat's mom. It's only a sprained wrist. It's not like I was going to be in a cast for the rest of my life." Brat left the auditorium, her mom following behind her while praising her. Before auditions for the next thing started, I went up and told the conductor that I would be healed in about 2 weeks. This worked out okay because it would be in time for the first competition. But however, the band was going to perform at half-time for the football game the next week. He was going to consider cutting out the flute solo for that performance or having some other instrument cover it for the time being. Brat's mom heard about this and was livid. She tried threatening, sweet-talking, bribing, guilt-tripping, and just about every trick in the book to get the conductor to let Brat play the solo. Eventually, he let her, knowing just what would happen. I got a front row seat to Brat, standing front center of the football field with a microphone in front of her while she absolutely destroying the hearing of anyone unfortunate to hear it. I even got a recording and kept it for myself. Usually people clap at the end of a solo, but instead it was silent. The rest of the band couldn't start playing any faster. The rest of the performance was great, but Brat's terrible opening solo ruined the whole mood. Brat was shocked. She had no idea why nobody clapped for her. One of the band members walked up to her and said, "I'm just going to put it blunt. You're not good." This caused Brat to break out into tears in front of the whole crowd. Her mom rushed down from the stands and tried to comfort her. The next day, she quit band, and good riddance to her. Brat was shocked. She had no idea why nobody clapped for her. One of the band members walked up to her and said, "I'm just going to put it blunt. You're not good." This caused Brat to break out into tears in front of the whole crowd. Her mom rushed down from the stands and tried to comfort her. The next day, she quit band, and good riddance to her. I eventually got the solo for myself. Everybody was glad I did. I don't think I could have listened to Brat play the flute one more time even to save my life. After that, Brat was quiet and never made fun of band ever again. This just goes to show you that your mommy's position and money can buy a lot, but it can't buy talent or personality. Thanks for reading my story, and if you would like to hear more stories about Brat or her mom, let me know.